Myths, those grand tales of gods, heroes, and fantastical creatures, form the bedrock of cultural lore in societies across the planet. Often transmitted through oral traditions, myths offer explanations for natural phenomena, set moral frameworks, and connect communities to their ancestral roots. Over centuries, these narratives can evolve dramatically, blending historical kernels with imaginative flourishes. However, buried within many myths are fascinating hints of real events, places, or people. The question is, where does myth end and reality begin? The story of the Trojan War stands out as a prime example. For centuries, the Iliad by Homer was treated as a cultural epic, perhaps entirely fictional. Tales of gods intervening in battles, heroic duels that shaped kingdoms, and a monumental wooden horse that allowed the Greeks to infiltrate Troy were seen primarily as poetic invention. That changed in the 19th century when Heinrich Schliemann, guided by Homeric descriptions, excavated a site in northwestern Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, and discovered the ruins of what many believe to be ancient Troy. Layers of destruction, signs of fires and fortifications, pointed toward a city that had indeed been besieged. Although we lack definitive proof of Achilles, Hector, or a Trojan horse, these excavations revealed that Homer's tale might have been rooted, at least in part, in an actual historical conflict. The line between myth and fact blurred, illuminating how oral legends can preserve collective memories of real events. Atlantis, introduced by the Greek philosopher Plato, is another enduring myth. Described as an advanced island kingdom that sank beneath the ocean in a single day of catastrophic earthquakes and floods, Atlantis has spurred centuries of speculation. Scholars and explorers alike have claimed to find traces of it near the Azores, in the Caribbean, or around Santorini, an island once partially destroyed by a massive volcanic eruption. While mainstream archaeology discounts the existence of a literal Atlantis, as Plato depicted, the possibility that he was alluding to an actual Bronze Age civilization undone by geological upheaval remains intriguing. Some researchers suggest he may have conflated real maritime disasters or echoing Egyptian records of large-scale floods, using Atlantis as an allegory about the hubris of powerful states. Yet the legendary city's mystique persists, a testament to our enduring fascination with sunken lands and civilizations undone by cosmic fate. In many myths, nature's grandeur is anthropomorphized. Volcano deities, river gods, or monstrous creatures guarding sacred groves might reflect a community's attempt to rationalize environmental realities. Take, for instance, the widespread deluge stories akin to Noah's flood. Variants appear globally. Mesopotamian epics like the Epic of Gilgamesh recount a cataclysmic flood that nearly extinguished humanity. In Greek myth, Zeus floods the world, sparing only Deucalion and Pyrrha. Anthropologists link these myths to collective memories of rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age or cataclysmic local floods that traumatized entire generations. As stories circulated over centuries, simpler accounts of major flooding evolved into moralized myths of divine retribution or cosmic renewal. Myths can also encode knowledge about star movements, agricultural cycles, or medical practices. For example, constellations often have rich mythological backstories. Orion in Greek myth, the Pleiades in many cultures, or the cosmic crocodile in Mesoamerican lore. These characters sometimes double as mnemonic devices, helping people track annual seasons or the best times to plant crops. Ancient societies lacked the scientific frameworks we take for granted, so mythic stories functioned like libraries of communal wisdom, guiding seafarers, farmers, and priests. By weaving instructions into narratives about gods and heroes, cultures ensured that crucial survival knowledge was passed down even when literacy was limited. Meanwhile, myths served to unify and legitimize political power. Kings and dynasties often claimed descent from gods or mythic heroes to cement authority. The pharaohs of Egypt, for instance, were considered incarnations, or sons of Ra, the sun god. In ancient Japan, the imperial family traced its lineage to the sun goddess Amaterasu. These beliefs imbued rulers with divine sanction and moral standing, buttressing royal prerogatives. Over time, genealogies mixing real ancestors and mythic figures might overshadow factual record-keeping. Though modern historians view many of these lineages skeptically, they reveal how narratives can shape governance. Exploring the truth behind myths does not diminish their cultural or spiritual significance. On the contrary, it can enrich our understanding of ancient peoples, how they perceived the world, how they coped with disaster, how they transferred knowledge between generations. Indeed, part of the enduring allure of myths is their adaptability. As societies evolve, myths can be reinterpreted, recontextualized, or syncretized with other beliefs. This plasticity makes them living traditions, not just relics of the past. In the modern age, interest in mythic origins extends to popular media. Countless books, movies, and TV series draw upon mythological sources, reimagining them with contemporary twists. The Marvel Cinematic Universe integrates Norse gods like Thor and Loki into a comic book context. Writers incorporate Greek or Celtic deities into urban fantasy settings, bridging ancient tales with present-day concerns. Sometimes these reinterpretations bring renewed attention to the original stories, prompting new archaeological searches or linguistic studies to verify whether mythic references hold undiscovered truths. Archaeology and comparative mythology, though still young disciplines by historical standards, have propelled the conversation on mythic truths. Scholars like Joseph Campbell explored worldwide patterns in heroic narratives, the hero's journey, finding structural similarities across cultures that suggest a deep psychological resonance. Others focus on geological or astronomical anomalies that might have inspired grand legends. While academic caution advises us against sweeping conclusions, this quake definitely caused that entire myth. These interdisciplinary insights underscore how myth formation can be triggered by real experiences, no matter how heavily adorned by metaphor. Should we then read all myths as distorted history? Not necessarily. Many myths are purely symbolic, moral allegories meant to teach lessons about human virtues, cosmic order, or communal identity. Yet the presence of consistent details across wide regions, like universal flood stories, suggests that major events can spawn enduring narrative legacies. Distinguishing between literal fact and symbolic embellishment calls for careful analysis, a blend of textual criticism, archaeological data, and an understanding of cultural context. Revisiting myths with this multifaceted approach opens new windows into humanity's intellectual past. It shows us how creative and resourceful societies were in describing cosmic mysteries or cataclysmic upheavals. It affirms that legends like the Trojan War, Atlantis, and global flood stories arise from a potent mix of lived experiences and imaginative storytelling. Thus, while myths often seem fanciful, they can hide kernels of historical truth under layers of drama, moral teaching, and cosmic wonder. In the end, unraveling the truth behind myths illuminates both the intangible, human hopes, fears, and aspirations, and the tangible, geological or historical events shaped into dramatic sagas. Myths continue to resonate because they speak to universal themes: the hero's quest, the fall of the arrogant, the promise of rebirth after destruction. Whether we view them as allegories for moral philosophy or partial records of catastrophic events, myths remain a testament to humanity's capacity to synthesize memory, observation, and creativity into stories that endure across millennia.